This is a story called The Little Monsters, Chapter 95. The kids fight with the Tremblers gang. The gang are on their way to school when they heard some kids crying. When they looked, the Tremblers gang were picking on some other kids who were about 4 years younger than them. They went up to them and Stumpy said, "Why are you picking on these little kids? They're a lot smaller than you and you shouldn't be picking on them. Why don't you pick on someone your own size?" "What's it got to do with you, fat kid?" said one of the Tremblers gang. "Don't call me fat kid, and it has everything to do with me because you shouldn't be picking on anyone, whether they're bigger than you, smaller than you, or the same size as you," said Stumpy. "We can do what we like when we like," said the leader of the Tremblers gang. "No, you can't. Not when you're bullying people, because bullying's wrong," said Stumpy. "Oh really, and what would you know, fat kid?" said the leader of the Tremblers gang. "Stop calling me fat kid, please. Bullying is wrong no matter how big or small you are," said Stumpy. Then the leader of the Tremblers gang pushed Stumpy over and said, "I told you to mind your own business, fat kid." Stumpy got up, pushed him back and said, "Stop calling me fat kid, bully boy." "Why are you calling me bully boy, fat kid?" asked the leader of the Tremblers gang. Then he punched Stumpy in the face, so Stumpy punched him back, saying, "Hit me and I'll hit you back twice as hard. Be nice to me and I'll be nice to you. Which do you prefer?" "I'm going to beat the living daylights out of you, fat kid," said the leader of the Tremblers gang. "Oh yeah, you and whose army?" said Stumpy. Then the rest of the Tremblers gang stepped forward and one of them said, "Us, that's who." Then Stampy said, "I notice how you need your friends by your side when you're bullying and hurting people. Is that because you're not tough enough to bully and hurt people when you're on your own?" "I don't need my friends by my side. I can fight my own battles," said the leader of the Tremblers gang. "Well, it doesn't look that way to me," said Stampy. Then the leader of the Tremblers gang hit Stampy, so he hit him back and said, "Like my friend said, hit me and I'll hit you back twice as hard. Be nice to me and I'll be nice to you. Which do you prefer? I know I'd rather be nice to someone than bully or hurt them." "I'm going to beat the living daylights out of you and your friend," said the leader of the Tremblers gang. Then they both started fighting and one of the teachers, Mr. Strawberry, came over and split them up. Then he asked them, "What's this about, boys? Why are you fighting with each other? Does he don't like you, Stampy?" "He started it, sir. Him and his friends were bullying some little kids. When we came over to stop them, he started picking on Stumpy and calling him fat kid, and then he hit him for no reason," said Stampy. "Is this true, boy?" Mr. Strawberry asked the leader of the Tremblers gang. "Yes, sir," answered the leader of the Tremblers gang. Right, any more fighting and you'll both be in trouble and you'll be sent to Mrs. Tinker. Is that clear, boys?" "Yes, sir. Sorry, sir," answered Stampy. "Yes, sir," answered Samuel, the leader of the Tremblers gang. "Good. Now the school bell will be going in about 10 minutes, so I suggest you use that time to play with your friends and not to fight," said Mr. Strawberry. As Mr. Strawberry turned his back and walked away, Samuel, the Tremblers gang leader, said to Stampy, "I'll get you later, you'll see." "Oh, whatever, Samuel, just go away and play with your friends and leave everyone else alone," said Stampy. Then one of the other Tremblers gang members said, "If he doesn't get you, the rest of us will, so I'd watch your back if I were you. That goes for all of you." "Oh, we're not scared of you, so go away and leave us alone, please," said Stampy. You will be when we get you after school, Stampy, said Thomas, the Tremblers gang member. Then Stampy turned his back on Thomas and he grabbed him, threw him to the floor and punched him in the face. Stampy managed to get up and he said to Thomas, "Hit me again if you dare and see what happens." Thomas hit Stampy again, so Stampy hit him again, and then they started fighting again. Mr. Strawberry came over and split them up, and then he said, "Stampy, I warned you earlier what would happen if I caught you fighting again, didn't I?" "Yes, sir, but Thomas started it, not me," answered Stampy. "I don't care who started it, boys. I'm giving you one last chance, boys. Any more fighting and I'm taking you to see Mrs. Tinker. Is that clear, boys?" said Mr. Strawberry. "Yes, sir. Sorry, sir," said Stampy. "Yes, sir," said Thomas. "Good. Now the school bell's gone and it's time for registration. So get in line with the other kids, please," said Mr. Strawberry. The boys did as they were told, but later that day at lunchtime, Stampy saw Thomas, Samuel and the rest of the Tremblers gang picking on some little kids again. He told the rest of the gang and they went up to them and Stampy said, You just can't help yourselves, can you? Why do you have to be so mean, horrible and cruel to people? It's got nothing to do with you, Stampy. So butt out, okay?" said Thomas. "No, I won't butt out, Thomas. Me and my friends are not going to stand by and do nothing when you're bullying other kids, especially when they're a lot younger and smaller than you. It's not right and it's not fair. No one deserves to be bullied." "Bullying's wrong," said Stampy. "Oh, mind your own business, Stampy. We'll do as we please," said Samuel. Then him and Thomas grabbed Stampy and started pushing him around. Then Thomas hit him and they ended up fighting again. This time though, Mr. Strawberry saw everything and he went over and separated them again. Then he said to them, "Right, you lot, come with me to Mrs. Tinker's office at once. Don't even think about disobeying me and running off because that will only land you in more trouble." When Mr. Strawberry told Mrs. Tinker what had gone on, she was disgusted and she was very shocked at Stampy. She said to him, "Stampy, what's got into you? It's not like you to fight and behave this way." "I didn't want to fight, miss, but they hit me, so I hit them back. Every day this week at playtime and lunchtime they've been picking on the other kids. Some of them are a lot smaller and younger than them. They've been taking money and stuff off them, miss. I wasn't going to stand by and do nothing, miss. You know I hate violence and fighting, miss," said Stampy crying. "Is this true, boys?" Mrs. Tinker asked Thomas and Samuel. "So what if it is, miss? It's got nothing to do with you or anyone else, so mind your own business," said Samuel. "Yeah, miss. I agree with Samuel. Just mind your own business," said Thomas. "Who do you boys think you're talking to? Apologise to me at once, both of you," shouted Mrs. Tinker. "No, miss, we won't, will we, Thomas?" said Samuel. "No, we won't, so get lost, miss," said Thomas. Then Mrs. Tinker said, "Stampy, I know your heart was in the right place, so I'm not going to cane you. However, I'm giving you extra homework as punishment. I want you to write an essay on fighting and violence and how it's wrong. It must be no less than 2 pages long. It's Friday today, so I want to see your completed essay first thing Monday morning, please. Is that clear?" "Yes, miss, and I'm sorry for fighting, miss," said Stampy. Thank you for apologising, Stumpy. You may go to your class now, said Mrs. Tinker. Thank you, miss, said Stumpy. Stumpy went to his class, but Thomas and Samuel were made to stay behind. Mrs. Tinker said, I want you two boys to apologise to me for your behaviour and for the way you spoke to me, please. No, miss. Why should we? Asked Samuel. What about you, Thomas? Asked Mrs. Tinker. Oh, get lost, miss, answered Thomas. Mrs. Tinker came them both, giving each of them 6 of the best across their bums. However, they didn't learn their lesson because at home time they followed the little monsters, and Samuel said to them, You're for it, all of you. Then he hit Stumpy and pushed him over. Just at that moment, Stumpy's dad pulled up in his car and said, Get off my son. Just what do you think you're playing at? Your son's a troublemaker and he deserves everything he gets, answered Samuel. Get away from these kids before I call the police, all of you, said Stumpy's dad. The little monsters were taken home by Stumpy's dad. However, late that night they were all out playing when the Tremblers gang approached them, and their leader Samuel said, Well, look who we have here, guys. It's the Little Monsters gang. Then he shouted, Get them! They grabbed the little monsters and started hitting them, leaving them with no choice but to fight back. About 5 minutes after the fight started, a few men came over and split them up. 3 of them were the little monsters' dads. One of them said to the Tremblers gang, I thought I told you kids to leave my son and his friends alone. It's got nothing to do with you, mister, so mind your own business. It's got everything to do with me. If you don't leave these kids alone, I'm going to call the police, and so will their parents, said Stumpy's dad. They all went back to Stumpy's house to play, and his dad told them to try and keep their distance from the Tremblers gang. However, the next day they were all out playing when the Tremblers gang approached them and started hitting them. There was about 12 members of the Tremblers gang and only 6 members of the Little Monsters gang. They tried to fight back, but they couldn't, and they were terrified. Once they managed to get away, they all went back to Stumpy's house crying and shaking. When his dad saw the state of them, he knew straight away that the Tremblers gang were responsible. He said to Stumpy, Did the Tremblers gang do this to you kids? Yes, Dad. We tried to fight back, but there was too many of them and we couldn't, Dad, said Stumpy in between tears and clinging on to his mum. Stumpy, I'm not going to let them get away with this. I'm calling the police, said Stumpy's dad. All the other parents were already at Stumpy's house and they agreed that it was best to call the police. When the police got there, they knew the little monsters and they knew that they hated violence. They took statements of each of them and took photographs of their injuries and evidence. Then they went to the homes of the Tremblers gang and arrested them all. However, on Monday at school, the Tremblers gang went over to the little monsters and Samuel said, We're all in trouble with the police because of you lot, and now you really are going to get it. Before the little monsters could do anything, the Tremblers gang grabbed them and beat them up again. The teachers managed to split them up and they were all taken to Mrs. Tinker's office. When they got there, the little monsters were all crying and Mrs. Tinker said to the Tremblers gang, I take it this is your doing. Yeah, it is, miss, and they'll get it again if they ever call the police on us or try stopping us from doing anything again, said Samuel. Mrs. Tinker phoned the Tremblers gang's parents, and with their parents' permission, she gave each of them 10 of the best in front of the whole school. Then their parents arrived and dragged them to Mrs. Tinker's office, and she permanently expelled them from the school. Then Mrs. Tinker told Stamper that the essay he'd written was going to be passed as part of his English assignment and not as punishment, because she felt he'd suffered enough. The little monsters were seen by the school nurse, and then Mrs. Tinker gave them the rest of the day off. Stumpy received an A star for his essay, and the Tramblers gang each received 6 months in Young Offenders. End of chapter 95. Hope you like it, guys. Thanks for watching. Love yous. Bye.